G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Cranked Automotive. I've got my little Suzuki back. If you haven't watched, we've got a G16B in it. I think it's got a bit of a head problem, so a little bit like Liam over here. Just joking. It's got a bit of oil in the coolant, and it was good. So when I gave it back to the owner, made sure I'll let them know, make sure you check the oil and coolant and stuff, you know, before you go and take it out for a bit of a bash or whatever. So, and they did, which is good. And I think we got it to it pretty early, so it hasn't really mixed too much water or anything with the oil. It's just evidence of oil in the cooling system, so there's obviously something going on here. So worst case scenario, it's going to be like a cracked head. Best case scenario, just a gasket that's old, and just blown it out. Never had one of these properly apart before, so I can't really tell you how close the oil galleries and water jackets are to each other, so it's all it needs to me, sort of thing. But we'll pull the head off, send it in a machine shop, get it pressure tested, crack tested, check it out. If it does need a new one, we'll just get a replacement core. But yeah, well, everything else goes pretty good on it. It still runs alright and everything like that. But yeah, so I've drained the cooling system this morning. So it was a good start, and I'll show you guys what was working in the bottom of the pan. Let's get into it. I reckon you bloody broke it, mate.
Yeah, too hard on that fucking right foot, mate.
Oh. So here's the goodness which was in it. Obviously I've tipped the pan out. Yeah, not good. So first plan of attack is we'll get the cylinder head off. We'll pull everything the other way. Time belt and everything's got to come off as well. The radiator. So I'm going to replace the radiator as well. Just put a better unit in it, and yeah, we'll see what's going on once we lift it off, and yeah, inspect the gasket and head and see what we can find. Let's get into it. Please don't be cracked. Please don't be cracked. She's bloody cracked, mate. So I don't know how well you guys can see, but if you're looking closely here, you see that very distinctive line right up to that valve seat there. Yeah, she's cracked. So could have well been like started cracking when I put the motor in, so something like that. You know, didn't really inspect it or anything like that. It's just a second-hand engine, and then yeah, it started giving you trouble once it started getting a bit of use again. So it's pretty much all I've done. Just cleaned up the head in the parts washer. So washed it all out, blow it dry, have a look. It's pretty safe to say. I even had one of my machinist mates come and have a look, and yep, he confirmed it with me. So she's going to need a new head. Possibly could weld it up, but I'm not too keen on that. Unless it's like an RB30 head or anything like that. I've welded up a couple of them, or had them welded up. But this, it's a bit hit and miss, because until you're 100% sure that you actually penetrate the alloy, and you know, what's to say that internally it's, you know, still going to leak coolant into a oil gallery or vice versa. So order a new head, but other than that, the block looks pretty good. So you still see all the cross hatching and stuff like that in the bores, which is good. Not a whole lot of wear. Pretty happy with that. So what we'll do is we'll clean it all up. We'll start by getting a razor sort of thing, scraping all the big shit off the block surface, and then we'll get a knife sharpening stone and Kero, clean it right up, so that way you keep it straight. So, but yeah, we'll sort her out. Bloody beautiful. So it's a Nason cylinder head engine part, so pretty sick. Biggest thing with doing cylinder heads and stuff like that, just make sure everything's right. Making sure that the VRS kit and especially the head gasket's right before you go slap it all on. Make sure you put it on the right way. Bloody hell. Anyway, yeah. There are two differences in the G16B heads. So how you identify them are the inlet rocker arms. So there's 45mm length rocker arm on the inlet, or a 50mm. So in this case we've got a 45mm rocker arm. So yeah, that just helps identify which cylinder head you got and what one you need. Which is pretty flash. All nice and new. Just pop her off and we'll have a look at it. That's pretty much what I'll be doing today. Just making sure this one's all nice and clean. Even though it's been machined and assembled in Australia, it should be fairly clean. There shouldn't be any contaminants or, you know, metal shavings or anything like that. It's not what you want. But then again, I'll go through, blow it all out, make sure it's all clean and that, and make sure there's no like freight anti-rust bloody shit that they put on them or something. So clean all that off. But no, it's pretty good. Comes with the cam caps, new cam caps. Valves have been cut, and all the, you know, the valve stem seals, retainers, and springs. So yeah, pretty happy. Nice and new. Shouldn't crack. Also, what I'll be doing, making sure that radiator's good. If I don't need to replace it, I won't. Probably should if you're going to spend the money and do a head, but don't see why that would have caused an issue. But I'll double check it again and put a new thermostat in it, and then also when we put it all back together, we'll just run water instead of coolant the first 1000 k's, just to make sure you've got a good seal in the head gasket. So people probably do it differently. Don't ask why. That's how I do it. It's how the workshop I work in do it, and it's pretty fail safe. So we'll get into it. We've just got a lot of parts to be cleaning up today and start assembling and lubing while I'm assembling. So probably a good time to check the camshaft, all the lobes and that. There's no pitting, there's no funny business, there's no excess of wear. One thing we'll be doing is just polishing up the seal surface as well. So because we're going to put a new cam seal on it as well. So let's get into it. sick shirt you got on there, mate.
What can I say? Make it look good, don't I?
Damn, dog.
That's...
You've got little turbos on the side, mate.
Yeah.
Hey?
She's pretty comfy too, though.
Yeah. Bloody hell, I might have to make a few more, eh?
Yeah.
Righto, so we got the cylinder head all assembled. Now you're probably thinking, why did I put the inlet manifold on the head now? Just because it's a lot easier to do while it's out than in the car. Could do it in there, but yeah, it just take a bit longer. And yeah. Anyway, so pretty much when you're doing this sort of stuff, if you're haven't done too much of it, it doesn't hurt to take photos of what, you know, where the studs go and yeah, any position things go in and stuff like that. Especially if you do wait a while for the head and you're a little bit busy, yeah, it doesn't hurt to take a few photos just for future reference. And mark stuff too, it doesn't hurt to do that. Like I've marked all the rocker gear simply for the fact that, you know, that's sort of where it lives on the rocker shaft itself. But when I get the head on and get it hot and everything like that, we'll have to pull the tap cover back off and check all the valve clearances. So other than that, it's all good. We'll make sure the block's all nice and clean, all the threads nice and clean for the head bolts, and we want to make sure, or we're going to be reusing the head bolts as well because they're not torque to yield. I think you can reuse head bolts up to 3 times sort of thing, and they're not torque to yield. If they are torque to yield, you could just chuck them in the bin, get new ones. But these ones are pretty right. But yeah, pretty much just want to make sure that all the threads are clean, and you also lube the head of the bolt, like where it's hitting the surface of the cylinder head, because dry torque setting and lube torque settings are completely 2 different things. So just gets rid of any of the friction, and yeah, make sure you're spot on with your torque settings. But enough for the chit chat, let's get into it. Righto, so Liam did a pretty good job yesterday. Cleaning up the block surface, looks mint. One thing not to forget, don't forget to put your dowels in. Yeah, it's all nice and clean, so always blow out the threads. We run through each thread with one of the head bolts, and yeah, cleaned it every time, just make sure there's no gunk in the threads, and then you blow all the crud out with the compressed air. Yeah. Oh well, shame Liam couldn't be it. He's a bit busy getting his cat looked at. It's got feline AIDS, I think. Yeah, that's the bottom of the cylinder head. Yeah, it's brake clean all that as well. Get rid of any freight juices, we'll call them. So yeah, righto. Well, we'll get the gasket on. Clean up the head bolts. We'll get into it. Whack it back on. Hopefully have it running this afternoon. Be good. All back together once again. Yeah. Righto, seems to be running alright. I didn't film any of the valve clearance adjustment. Bit of a prick of a job, just takes a bit of time. So still got one that sounds a little bit too loose, but other than that, pretty happy with it. So now I'm just going to run water in it for 1000 k's, drive it around, make sure it doesn't play up, and then drop that out. Look at getting another radiator for it. This one's alright, but I'd just rather be safe than sorry. So yeah, other than that, it's all pretty simple. Hopefully Liam's cat is alright with its feline AIDS. He's always bludgeoning that bloke. Not really, it's all good. Well, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you think of the videos. Let me know what you think of these pretty sick sheds. I reckon they're pretty killer. Gonna look at maybe getting a few more, which would be pretty cool. Maybe some work shirts or something. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the videos, and hit that little bell for post notifications when we do have new videos up. It's going to be a big year, this one, for Cranked Automotive. Until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.